Welcome back to Success on Your Terms. And today I'm joined by Gordon Burcham, martial artist, visionary entrepreneur, business and personal development coach, author, speaker, and all round lover of life. He's going to share with us all around how you align with the life that you want. Why can't we be happy all of the time? It's a great conversation, and he's also going to be sharing about one move that he's changed his life. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Success on Your Terms, Gordon. It is a pleasure to have you on. It's going to be an interesting conversation because we've known each other probably for some years now through different things, and it's always you've always kind of, let's just say, on Facebook, I think you are mainly for me. You're always there as someone that I just will see, and it does stop the scroll. Interesting with messaging, it does stop the scroll of what you do, because I know we've got a lot in common, which is what we'll expand on today. But over to you. Tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and tell us something random about something that's going well for you right now.
Yeah, sure. It's great to be here. Thanks. And great to connect on your podcast as well. So, wow, where to start really? I'm a martial artist, really. That's what I'm known for. But I've run a full-time martial arts facility in the rugby area. I've done for 27 years. Been running a business for 27 years. I've got a franchise company. I have a consultancy company where we disrupted the martial arts industry really with coaching and mastermind, but essentially but mastermind to the industry that no one knew about.
Yeah.
Really sort of changed it up and helped a lot of people really build their martial arts businesses. And then done a lot of talking on stages and helped people, written a couple of books, and I'm all about the human being. I'm all about helping human beings. I'm all about
Yeah.
how to find that diamond inside, let it shine on the world. That's what I'm all about. So yeah, I've done a little bit. Still learning, growing, evolving. Love personal development. Love personal growth. I love working harder on myself than I do on my business these days. I think that's massively important, and I think. Yeah, just really, I have a very clear message in where I'm going until I die now, which is to help people live life happy. That's essentially happiness is the oxygen of life, and that's
Yeah.
really what life is all about. It's about happiness, and I think we're lost in this. We're lost in this dare I say it, bullshit world. This
Yeah.
veneer of perfection, this veneer of it's all amazing. And actually, success is defined by happiness. If you're happy, you're highly successful. And I think there's a massive need in this world now for more happiness, more laughter, more love. And that's what I'm about. Yeah. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Love it. Well, let's kick in straight with that in messaging, because I love the part, like you said, that's a very strong message. It's a very strong mission of what you want to help people on. And you're bang on, and lots of that resonates for myself. And interestingly, that's where I first saw you, was speaking on stage many years ago. I just left corporate and went to the event where you were speaking, and was completely lost in a space where I didn't enjoy life. I wasn't doing particularly well where I was working at the time. And I decided I wanted to quit and go into, well, I had quit actually by then, and go into business, because I wanted to, thought like, the purpose of my life. I don't want this, how it's going for the next 30 years. This doesn't define, as you said, happiness, or again, this is where success on your terms comes from, or success for me at all, because I just was in this, I was caught and trapped in this little cycle of home, gym, home, gym, home, gym, work. And it was just messy. I guess I've followed a bit of your journey recently as well. I'm going to pronounce it completely wrong. It's Aya has
Ayahuasca.
go for it. You do it.
Yeah. Ayahuasca. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll explain the personal development journey. I think would help with maybe
Yeah.
a little bit on my own personal journey. And I think sometimes I share the story or give some perspective for some of the people on here. So, when I was younger, I was, massively different to most people. Very quirky, very different, which is the same for lots of people now, right? But I
Great.
remember being at school, I was quite a lonely person. I had two friends, both of them were girls, and both of them used to beat me up, which is interesting. And it was just a bit quirky and a little bit different. And I always felt very alone. I always felt like I was trying to fit in. And I went to secondary school, and that's where it really turned sour. I was massively bullied, like very physically, mentally and emotionally and physically. And the fear that I had, the victim I had in myself, it come out massively. That I just attracted negativity. I attracted the bullying. I attracted people not liking me. And that took me to the age of sort of 16, where I just absolutely just didn't love who I was. And I started martial arts when I was 16, and when I started martial arts, I didn't start it for any reason. It kind of found me a little bit. And my friend came to the door and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing kickboxing. Do you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Fuck off!" Like, I'm fucking scared shitless. There's no way. Like, I can't do that. Anyway, went to the classes, and I hated it. Hated every minute of it. Like, I hated it, but I kept going back. And then I kept, I had this philosophy like, if I'm going to be there, I might as well do the best I can. And I remember for many years, Natalie, I had this demon in my head. I used to drive to the martial arts center. It used to be 5 minute drive. It used to take me 45 minutes to get there. So I drive there and drive back, drive there. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you
Okay.
can't. No, you can't. Yes, you can. Sit outside the dojo, have a few tears of fear in my eyes, and then walk into the dojo, do the thing, get beat up, come back out. Then I went through this cycle, and I went into like doing competitions, and I'd lose for 2 years I would go every Sunday, lose every Sunday for 2 years, and just keep going back. So one thing I did have was the ability to just keep going. That was the thing. I just had this thing of keep going. I think that came from my mum, who was a very strong lady. When I used to get beat up, I used to run in crying, and she'd bang me and say, "Get back outside. That's how you, and get back up. That's how you win." I'm like, oh, I'm really just in absolute fear. But there was something inside me that kept on going in the martial arts thing. And I used to then start winning some martial arts little interclub tournaments and stuff. But here's what I want to share with you here. This is how powerful the mind is. This can affect you in your business and everything, right?
Yeah.
Even though I was winning some, I made up every excuse in my mind that it was because the person had something bad to eat. I had a lucky day, had a lucky draw. It was never that I won because I was good. It's because it was just one of them lucky scenarios. It won't happen again. I had that much disbelief in myself. That's what I used to say. I used to go home and I remember up in my loft room, I used to sleep. And I used to think to myself, it was just a lucky day. It was a lucky day. It was a easy draw. I just must have eaten the right things, all this type of stuff. And that went on for years. And it wasn't until like 2012 where I fought in the British Championships. And then when I fought there, I won and I got selected for the England team. And I went into the England team. And here's again, all the mindset. So I'm framing it so you get where I'm at now, right? So I remember standing in the tunnel with the England team going to Canada, okay, to go and fight. And I remember reading the newspaper. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I remember looking up and looking at the England team as we were going down. It was in Heathrow, down the tunnel to go into the plane. And I pissed myself laughing. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, you don't deserve to be here. You insane. Just get off the plane. Just get off right now because you're going to go over there and get beat. So anyway, I went over to Canada. Obviously, I had to because I'm on the go on the plane. Flew to Canada. And I remember getting on the mats and, you go through prelim rounds, right? So you get the first round. Anyway, I get into the first round and I won. I was like, mint, at least I've won one. And then I fought, so that was an Irish guy, then a German guy, then a Canadian. I beat them and beat them. And then I fought this big American guy. Um, and I beat him and beat the other guy. And I got into the finals, which was 2 days later. I was like, wow, at least I've won a silver medal. So I get to the evening, which of the night before the finals, and I'm lying in there. Now, bear in mind, I'm lying flat down because what I haven't said is I had an 85-year-old hip. My hip was that crushed over the years of martial arts. Every night, without fail, I used to wake up with the most obscene pain of someone like a machete stabbing my hip. It was horrendous. So I was nursing that and just trying to get by. And I remember just leaning in there thinking, my God, this is painful. And as I got up from the foyer, I was with the England team and we were chatting. I was like, right, I'm going to bed. Something changed in my psychology. Okay, I walked from there to the lift, and I remember thinking to myself, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result.
Yeah.
Like, keep thinking negatively. If you keep thinking about that, you're going to so something happened. Have you seen the film Sliding Doors?
Exactly.
So the doors went like this, and all of a sudden I decided to visualize. And I had to visualize how the final would go, how I would feel, what it would be like. And I got up into the room and I just carried on that visualization about the calmness, about the simpleness, about like every shot I was going to fire, etc. And I woke up in the morning with the most amazing sense of calm. Like, I woke up and I just felt unbelievably calm. Everything I did was with precision. Like I was packing the bag to go downstairs. I'd have ironed my socks if I had an iron. You know, it was that
Ah,
it was absolutely like I went to have breakfast, I was just relaxed. I went and stretched out and I get onto the mats for the final. Now bear in mind, I'm 33 years of age and I look in front of me, I've got an 18, 19-year-old who's won everything. Okay. And he's just amazing. He's just built like unbelievably wow. And I'm 33, he's a young kid, and I'm 33. And I get onto the first round and I'm going through and it's like a point scoring system. I get to the halfway mark and my my instructor goes, look, you're winning. I'm like, well, at least I won the first round. And then something clicked into gear. I went through this motion of unconsciousness of like looking down at myself as the fight's going on. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing there and they raise my hand and say, Gordon Burcham, world champion. And I screams out loud. It was like, wow, the most unbelievable, like I was crying, I was emotional, the crowd are cheering, and it was the most emotional time ever. And at that moment, it wasn't that I'd won the world title, or I'd got the gold medal, or I was a world champion, or I'd beat the guy. Is I beat the biggest demon in my life, which was myself. I could finally
yeah.
love myself. And that was the day I was born. That I was born that day in 2012 in Canada. The
Did you
person that
realize that that day, do you think? Or do you think it's in
no,
hindsight?
it came later on. But what I
Yeah.
did is I could finally respect and love myself for who I was. And I went on from there and won multiple world titles and built
Amazing.
businesses and all that type of stuff. So it was a massive journey of development. And through that whole process, it wasn't just the martial arts, it was the personal development journey I went on. I had a life coach who really worked on deep stuff in NLP regression to really
Yeah.
get rid of some of the trauma that I had in my life, which was around victim, conflict,
Yeah.
you know, etc. And I've been on that big, massive journey since 2012 of development of self and to really like inspire other people. If you work hard on yourself, you can do, be, and become anything. And most people are working on external bullshit. They're working on stuff that's not going to help them. I coach and mentor so many people, and I have done over the years, the last decade of coaching and mentoring people. And 99.9% of it is mindset and belief. That's what it is. But they want the Facebook strategy. You're like, this is bollocks. It's all fictional stuff. Once you work hard on yourself, once you understand what's holding you back, you are absolutely, there's no limit to what you can achieve. And that's why, that's what I do a lot now. And I went on this ayahuasca retreat. So to bring it up to speed now, I've done lots of stuff in personal development, lots of deep work. Like I work harder on myself than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went on an ayahuasca retreat recently. It was which is like a plant medicine. It was like last week. I
Right.
can't remember. This will blow your mind, right? So I'm on this ayahuasca retreat, and it's a 2-day thing. And I've researched about it. I know it's a plant medicine. I know it's psychedelics. I know it's DMT. I know it's like this is serious, right? And you've got to take it
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm open, and this is really, really important for the listeners here. Be totally open.
Yeah.
I think most people are trying to put this veneer of perfection out and they're holding themselves and they're not open enough to letting in and letting go. And this is really important. And so on this ayahuasca retreat, it's like, okay, so you take this plant medicine and essentially the objective is you're going to let go and you are essentially the objective here is to purge, and purging is vomiting or sweating direct, whatever it is. Yeah, it's to let go. Okay, they see it as a sign. So anyway, I'm going through this process and about half an hour in I'm like, oh my goodness. And this unbelievable feeling came over and this I went into like a fifth dimension of thought, like in an unconscious state, but in like a parallel universe. And to switch from reality into here, this unbelievable, I was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't breathe. I feel like I was dying. And what I realized was at that moment, I had this real, and it was teaching me this overwhelming sense of control. I was trying to control.
Okay.
You need to let go. And you need to get, and then essentially what I had to do was surrender and pretty much die to then let go. And I let go of this control, and it just sent me on this mental journey for hours of teaching me to let go of control, to teach me these wonderful things, these insights, Natalie, that have transformed my life already, like you wouldn't believe. Like to, I'm a very much a go, 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 let's go, let's grow, let's go, let's grow. And from the whole, it was teaching me to slow down so you can see the world. Slow down so you can see the beauty. Slow down and take a minute and stay present with reality, with where you're at, and so you can see. And it was taught me so many things that have literally from that whole 2 day experience has changed me forever. And I am so much more present with my family, with my friends. I'm so much more present in life. I have. I'm not the person that I was. It's like an upgrade of who I was,
Sure.
and I feel um, so much more relaxed. I haven't been on social media at all. Like I used to be on social media because I was like, I realized that lots of these connections were, I want to see how it's doing. How's the post doing? How is the likes going? How am I being seen? And by the way, I guarantee 99% of people are doing this if they're on social media. They want to make sure the post is going really well and people are reacting to it and
Yeah.
they're getting opt-ins and all this. And now I have no desire at all for that stuff. What will be, will be. So I've really learned to let go. I feel so free as a human being that I'm not trying to control. I genuinely know my soul that everything will happen for the right reasons. And that is so calming. I purged 15 times through the whole process. It was horrendous. I've never been sick so much, by the way, from my core. I've never been sick from my core like that. It was like a real release of thank you. So it's very deep work. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I want to get out of it at all times. It was so difficult, but it's been so rewarding. And I look in the mirror and I can't see the person anymore. I feel like I'm in a new essence of myself, a much more stronger, more centered human being, which has allowed me now to see the world differently and see myself and see the gift of the present. So much more. It's so beautiful to be able to sit there and not need and not be so crazy. And one of the big things that's come out of it is I've stopped trying.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that. There's a lot there. I guess
Mm.
the initial thought for me is, was there, I know and I've seen it because you do walk your talk. You are that person as well. And as much as maybe because I was curious with the whole coming away from social media side as well for me, because you're right, you become a slave to that of do this, do that, and you just chase things. It's like you're not living life in the moment at all. It's just passing you by.
Mm.
And but then, like I have followed your little lives before, and it sparked me before to think, oh, I just need to go live and do that, which is that's great as well. But was it the personal journey you've done for years that's led you to this now, or was there a moment of something actually there where things have unpacked, or you felt stuck, or something that has been a catalyst for this experience recently?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all a journey. Life is a journey. Life is an adventure. And we're all on this adventure and we're all on this journey. And of course, I wouldn't have done this years ago. There's
Yeah,
been a development of self. Like last year, I went through a very heavy partnership, as in like a business partnership divorce, if you like. Yeah.
right,
Really, really challenging. The hardest time I've had in business in 20 years.
right.
It was so difficult last year. It was a really, really tough year. Like the things I had to do, I had to make 5 people redundant, which is
Yeah,
in my profile, as you know, Natalie. I'm a heart-centered human being. I just
yeah,
love humans. I love them more than they do themselves. I just love humans, and I had to let 5 people go in one day. The whole process last year of a partnership, a splitting, etc., was in business was so horrific for me. And I went back to that little boy at
yeah,
times. I went back to the scared young man. I went back to the weak young man at times. And through that whole process, I was very, very lost at times last year. And as I went through that process and then out this year, I knew that, by the end of last year, I was getting stronger. But over the Christmas break, I knew there was a change coming before I'd even decided to do the ayahuasca retreat. I knew it. I knew that I needed a change. I knew that there was something that I needed to let go of, and I didn't know what it was. But
yeah,
I knew that I was ready for an upgrade. I knew I was ready to evolve. I knew I was ready to let go. And that hold that I know, I think we're all conscious of our habits, right? Our habits, we are creatures of our habits, and we all, if we're totally honest, we all have bad habits more than ever any time in history now with the social media, with the addiction to anything. Most people are addicted and they don't realize this. And I was definitely addicted to the dopamine and the endorphins and very much the to be needed. You know, I had very
Yeah.
much a person that needed to be needed. And I told myself, and I've written a book on, on the subject. And one of the things I've realized through this process, Natalie, of writing the book Live Life Happy, which I'll talk about in a minute, because it will help
Yeah.
people massively in what I'll share. But what was massively empowering to me from this process is I'm now being the book I wrote. And that's massively important. Like most people, they'll even in their social media content, when I look at people, they're like they're not what they say they are. They're not being like we're human beings, not human doers. And I'm very much about who are you being today? You know,
Love.
this world of social, self-development, but they're not being the book. They're
Yeah.
not being what they read. They go, oh, I know personal development, but they're not being personal development. They're not being the
Yeah.
book they've read. They're not being the book that they've wrote. They're not being that human being. But they put this veneer up and they put this out there to the world that that's who they are. And I'm all about authenticity and
Yeah.
about being like open, honest, and real. And I realized I wasn't being as real as I could have been, as authentic as I am. I now know if I went on social media, I could absolutely who I am, what I'm saying. Whereas even me, as honest as I am, in my gut, there was something that didn't resonate with me. It wasn't completely, I didn't have a complete integrity with self. And people lack this integrity with themselves massively. And I think this is so prevalent because everyone needs something. It's like they want to get something. The world is full of getters.
Yeah.
And when they're putting it out, oh, it's not because I want to get there. Yes, you do. Like if they look to their core and they're really honest, they strip themselves back, they do want to get something. That's exactly what they want to get. And I think that now I'm actually just in my core, I don't need anything. And this is massive for me. Like
That's
so
massive. Yeah.
I do not need a like and a love and by the way, there's a void at the moment for me, Natalie. There's a massive void because now I've let go. I've got so much more time
Sure.
because I'm in this void of well, I posted. Now I realise, and I didn't realise at the time, I was posting because I wanted to get, and I did post because I love to help people as well. But really, the reality is most of it was because I was trying to get something. Now I'm like, okay, I don't feel the need to post. So now I'm trying to refine my purpose in life because my purpose to grow was to show people
Yeah.
that I could get something.
Yeah.
Now, like actually, now what is it I truly want? So I still have that desire to help human beings more than anything. It's my life's purpose. But in this void now, I'm like, okay, I just believe everything's going to happen for a reason. And what's really, really interesting, I've done less work and created more income in about a week and a half. So many things have come towards me, you would not even believe. I've done nothing, pretty much nothing in the last week and a half. I sat at my computer creating just crap. Like creating crap, just doing nothing. And and then all of a sudden, like that, this person's come towards us, this person's come towards us. This sounds crazy, but I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just being.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Now, I'm sure, and through my shaman who is saying this is what happens when you go through a very deep process. You're not the old person. Of course, you have a void. Now you've got to find a new purpose, a new way of being, and a new way of living because that person was in a very dopamine, very needy
Mm.
way of living.
Mm.
And strip that away, if you strip social media away from those people, well, they would have, they would, and by the way, I was the same. I'd be like, my phone would, I lose my phone so many times now, you wouldn't believe it. I can't, it's not switched on half the time. It's fucking crazy, Natalie. Like, this is not a conscious decision. It's just not important. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Whereas I used to have it glued like I'm a hipster, like this, and I'd selfie everything. You've seen it on social media, right? I've only done one selfie in since I've been back from the retreat, and when I did the selfie, all I could see was a blurred vision. I couldn't see myself. This is crazy, right? And so anyone listening to this, you're the first one to hear this, by the
It's
way.
not. because I've always that did me well in corporate actually, to be fair, like always loving personal development, and I did well at stuff, and I was geeky and known for all of that, as like they said, oh, that's the thing, it was the geeky thing. So I
Yeah.
was like, I love numbers, but I wasn't chasing those numbers the same way my peer was, and I was be like, yeah, but we need to do this plan, and it's about you and your mindset, and I know the value in it. And back to your point at the start, actually, where you said sometimes at school you felt a bit different and stuff. I always can feel a bit of an outlier. I've felt that, and we were part of, that's how we met and connected, because I went to a mastermind and event experience that you were in, and came part of that community. I stayed there for a year or so, and I'm always aware sometimes it can look like I jump ship or go to the next thing. It's less about that, and I've always made that clear of mentors. I'm not clicky as a person. Even sometimes it may be perceived that, but if I find people that I like, I probably, and it is part of attachment. I'm aware of that. I'm working through it, but there's an attachment because they make me feel safe as well, and there's a loyalty there, and I find that rare, especially on social media coming from corporate, where again I worked at one company for 19 years. It's like, it's really, you just don't say that anymore, to work for one place, and there was a lot behind that of identity. And I had, I did a lot. I did grief recovery when I left corporate, because I was signed up for depression. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I just felt cold, like nothing made me happy. And that's what led me down to the road of, when people say, oh, it's risky doing a business. I was like, but it's risky not for me, because I hate life right now. So if I don't do this, like, that's a bigger risk of just staying unhappy for me than giving it a go and failing. Like, that's the way I see it. And that being able to see failure in that way is serving, and has and is always going to serve me in life, because you're curious. And this is what I love about this conversation. You don't have the answers. You allow things to just happen. And interestingly, and going back to the point about being honest, I know I'm in a state right now where I'm pushing it too far on the whole, like you said, chasing this, chasing that, doing this, doing that. And I'm in that space. I know it. And I believe, because I've had two conversations, you and, Ellie McKay, I spoke with her yesterday. And again, very similar conversations around just letting stuff be, and not, just that space. And I'm a believer in those conversations come to you at the right time, but you've got to pay attention to those as well, and then do something with it. Otherwise, it's pointless. And I know I'm in that space right now where I feel a bit lost. I feel a bit like an outlier, because if I share it with people around me, they'll be like, what planet are you on? But I'm always okay with that as well. So I choose now, the communities have expanded from like the UK a star. I'm in one in Canada, and it's completely different how I am. Like, they talk about, let's making memories, and I'm the worst singer, but I'm going to learn how to be the best singer. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just a random space. But it's also quite exhilarating and liberating to be around people like that. So when you say, it can some this, it doesn't, because I also know the opposite side. I've just drifted again, which I need to, like you probably were, before, like maybe last year or before, with up until this point. Now I've drifted too far the other side now, to the point of going, I'm doing too much, and I'm very aware of that. And I think that's why I've been ill for the last 2 months as well, because I'm suddenly going, if I stack it all together, I'm getting through it, but I'm still poorly, and there's a reason. And I'm massive as you are on health, that's the biggest sign to me. If I don't listen to that, that's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally bet, and I always talk. It's very deep. Like, it's very, people get lost, right? They get
Yeah,
lost on. There is so much information in the world, and there's so many things that you can do. And I think we all get dragged in, and this is the challenge with social media, by the way. And this is not social media conversation, but if you use this as a metaphor, right? You're getting pulled in, and then because we're not disciplined enough to say no. We're not disciplined enough to live in our true sense. And that's what happens with most people. They know where they want to be. Like, we are so amazing as human beings when we're at our core, what
yeah,
we truly want to be, what we truly like, in peace and in harmony. But we like, everything around us is in chaos, and
yeah,
it's like confusion, chaos and confusion. And we get sucked into that world all the time. Imagine, I always like to use this as an analogy. Just imagine a tornado, right? And in the middle of the tornado is the peace and the harmony, right? And you sit there sometimes, like, oh, beautiful. And then what we do is we make a choice in the world to put a hand in, we get sucked around like this, all
yeah,
right, into the vortex and it's like this, and it's chaos and you don't even realize it. And then at times you work on yourself and you go, okay, I'm going to come back to my center and I'm going to be nice at peace, etc., etc. And then, of course, what happens is through choice, our own choices, we decide to put our hand in again, get spun round again. And this is why people do this up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And what I'm realizing more in life is it's not up and down, it's not extremes,
Yeah.
okay? Bobbing along the ocean like this. And that's where we need to be. And we have to be so mindful of what we are consuming, mindful of our actions, mindful of what we're doing, and realize that we are the absolute creator of our lives. I talk about this a lot. Tony Robbins talks about it, but I do it in my own philosophy. You are absolutely creating something every single second of every single day. The
Sure.
question is it aligned with what you truly want? Or is
Yeah.
it aligned with what other people you think I should be doing or you other people want? And very often, if you look at most people and you ask them, really, they just want happiness. They just want to be fucking happy. How many times, by the way, Natalie, are you doing things that you don't enjoy in life?
There are at points. Last year was a curve for me on that one and bringing that in. And I say no to a lot of things now because I don't want to do it. No. I do stuff because I love it. And I said before we came onto this, I'm working with someone in a program and things like that. I do that because I like it. I enjoy it. And people will say you could earn more money on other stuff. Now, it's not about that for me. I love it. I learn a lot from being around that person, from being in that space, from being with more people. I work from home. I was in corporate for years with like I used to lead over 500 people at one point. To be on my own, that is always going to be a challenge for me as a person. I have to be around people in some form. And so I am very aware of I don't need or have to do anything I don't want to do. And when I do, it never turns out well. So I challenge myself if I'm in that scenario, actually, what is the reason? Because there's just no benefit from it. But you have to be astute and aware to know that in yourself, don't you?
There's something that I teach a lot, which is called AAA. Okay. I say AAA every day. Okay. First of all, you got to be aware of what you're doing. So if you want to create change in your life, first of all, you got to be aware. We walk around in unconscious incompetence, okay, which we all know. Many people
Yeah.
understand this, right? But there's so many things that you're doing where it's not really benefiting you in life. So you're in unconscious competence. So awareness is stopping through the day rather than just getting on with it and doing it and asking, is this moving me towards or away?
Yeah.
You know, I guarantee if you do this through your day, Natalie, you'll go, oh, actually, what I'm doing there is probably not a good thing. You know, actually scrolling on Facebook is probably not a good thing. Getting pulled into a TikTok video is not a good thing. You know, getting not that you would do this, but get involved in a rant or actually, am I getting frustrated by something? That's not a good thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
awareness is important. The second part of the A, the AAA, is accepting it fully. Isn't that amazing? That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm aware of it and I'm going to really, really accept it. That's amazing. Okay, awesome. Not, oh shit, I'm doing that again. It's like, oh, amazing. Look, I'm aware of it. I accept that's me. Absolutely, 100% me. That's brilliant. And then the final A is a different action. Okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to do something different. And what that does is it shifts you. Okay, it's a bit like a plane, just slightly judging, just moving it back on track again. And what
Yeah.
most do is they're in an unconscious state. They think they live in this busy world. I'm really busy, and they go off and they're so busy they're moving off like literally off course. And then they've got to work really hard to get back on course, you know, and then finally realise because they take too long to be in awareness. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Make sure that every single day you're like, okay, is this moving me towards or away? Ah, amazing. I
Yeah.
accept it's me. Actually, I'm going to take a different action here. Let me just move it across here a little bit. And if we all did that as humans, imagine what would happen in our lives. We'd be
Yeah.
far much more, way much more on course than veering off, which most people do. And we'd ultimately be happier. I think that's massively important. You know, we very much end up over here. And the core of everything that I teach is what I'm doing going to make me happier or sadder?
Sure.
That's the question, you know?
Tell us about your book.
Wow, live life happy. Well, so in 2019, I get a phone call from my mum. I was in Devon, and I missed it in the evening. And the next morning, I was like, my mum phoned me a couple of times. I phoned up and she said, as she picks up the phone, she says, where have you been? It's like, I've been asleep. She says, your dad's fell down the stairs and broke his neck. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I driving from Devon back into Rugby, about 3.5 hour drive, gets to the hospital. Now my dad has a muscle wasting disease called myotonic dystrophy,
Okay.
which is a very rare muscle wasting disease, which essentially even your throat muscles, it just deteriorates everything. So he was eating through a peg in his belly for years, and just in my hero just disintegrating like this. He'd had pneumonia a few times, etc. And then now he fell down the stairs because he wouldn't get in his stair lift
Right.
because he's so proud. So goes to see him, goes in the hospital, and he's lying there, he looks at me and he gives me this really funny look. And I'm like, hi Pops, how you doing? Give him a kiss. Anyway, so speaking to doctors, and the doctor's like, yeah, he's going to be okay. We're going to send him home tomorrow. It's a slight crack in his neck. It's all good. And I'm like, okay. And all the doctors are saying he's going to be cool. So, okay. So with him for a few hours, I went to go and I said, right, I'm going to go home now. I'm going to let you rest. I'm going to go and watch Man United play. It's his favourite team. And go home and I've got to do a couple of calls, but I'll see you tomorrow, Pops. Okay. So this is about 4 o'clock. Give him a kiss. So anyway, I get home and stuff. About 8 o'clock, I've got a couple of calls. Picked up the phone, and as I picked up the phone, my mum's screaming down the phone, "Your dad's passed away." I was like, "Oh my
Wow.
God!" So I'm driving to the hospital. I'm just absolutely in bits. Every 30 seconds to a minute, I was stopping because I couldn't control myself. Gets to the hospital, nearly crawls across to see him. I'm just like in absolute bits with my family, and walks in, and there's my dad. He was there a few hours before, and he's gone. And I remember seeing him there, and it was a surreal moment for me. I had the most overwhelming sense of regret that I've ever had in my life. Like it was so painful, and the regret feeling was unbelievable. And I found it, as all the family did, so difficult. And then going home, and as I went home, I just couldn't really sleep. And then when I did sleep, I was waking up in absolute tears, and this regret was surrounding me. And I was like, oh my goodness. So anyway, my mum says to me, um, the next day, she says, you're supposed to be going to south of France for a few weeks. Like, you need to go. Your dad will want you to go.
Yeah.
And I am not going. There's no way. She goes, look, everyone's on your sisters here, brothers. It's all good. It's going to take a few weeks because they need to do something around this because he's passed away all of a sudden. They don't know why, etc. And they convinced me to go. So I get on the plane and I'm flying to the south of France, and I made a decision. Um, I made the decision to write a book in my dad's name. My dad has the same name as me. My dad's name is Gordon Burcham.
Right.
So I made a decision he was my hero. I was like, okay, I want to do something. I want to pour out. I had to do something cathartic to pour out. And through the process over in the south of France, I wrote Live Life Happy in 10 days. And
Wow.
but I wrote it through cathartic healing.
Yeah.
And through that process, I realized that um, the regret was not me. It was coming from my father. He was going, don't regret your life like I have mine, son.
Okay.
Was so fucking powerful. Like I get goosebumps now thinking about it. And through that book, as I kept on writing, it's around how to live each day on purpose, how to live each day full of happiness, joy, laughter, how to live each day as the creator of your life, exactly in your vision, how to step up every day and own your choices and own your happiness and own your decisions and live the life that you want to not leave this world with regret. And that's why I wrote Live Life Happy. And it's something I talk about on stages, and I wrote the book, and it's part of what I do now. And I've got a certified course that's now just launched as well, a 2-day certified level 4 course on living life happy, which I think is one of the first ever around just happiness.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about the
I
strategies
get
and
it. I get it.
fucking boring. Like happiness is the oxygen of life. Like that's how you measure success, not for the amount of money you've got and like it's happiness. And I'm so passionate about it. It's so simplistic, but it's missing in this society. So yeah, live life happy is a movement, and it's a journey, and it's something that everything in its core is so powerful because it's about you. And it's about taking full ownership of your happiness, full ownership of your life, full ownership of your adventure, and to leave this planet absolutely living heaven on earth. That's the plan. Yeah.
It's interesting. You're the only person I think who's said very similar to, so my dad's my hero in that way as well. And I remember years ago, probably about, well, I say years, probably about 7 years ago. And I remember again, crystal clear. I don't know why, but it was in a hall and I was just leaving. I was like, what's success to you? And he was like, being happy.
Mm.
And that was, and it stayed with me, one, because it's my dad, but two, because I was like, just so simple, and
Mm.
in some ways, but also not, because like you say, everything you shared there, and why that book would be so powerful for so many people is, and actually probably 99% of population, is because most people don't know what they want in life, and most people aren't, like you just said, they are just autopilot every single day of getting up and going to a job and doing what they think they need to do and paying the bills, and that it's just that again, is that really what you want for your life when you look back on it and things? And I get, like, the bit beyond that for me always is that lots of people know this stuff as well, or they heard this, or they know that they're going, like, if you're just doing the same thing over and over, you get the same result type of thing. They don't change anything about it. That's the bit that has to change.
I created a changes model within the structure of what I do, which is based around this, which is changes is a very similar, you may have heard it before, Natalie, but changes is choices,
Sure.
happiness, affection, never judge, gratitude, energy, and self-improvement. Like that model there is so powerful because if you can own your choices, if you realize the greatest power you have is choice, like most people in
People
this.
hate that though, don't they? They hate hearing it.
But they hate it because they don't want to own it. Like it's easy
Yeah.
to point a finger. The world is
Yeah.
full of finger pointers. The problem is they have no power. As soon as it's external, you lose every single bit of your power. And what I try to teach people all the time is to take full responsibility for everything that has been, is, and will be in your life. Full responsibility to own everything. That is when you pass from childhood to adulthood. That's when you absolutely in your power. And most people are like, yeah, I accept this, but not that. That is, you're not going to grow until you take full responsibility. And that is through your choices. Yes, you're going to fuck up. Great. That's your lessons. Amazing.
Massive.
The greatest lessons you have and the challenges you have. You hear me talk about this a lot on social. Talk about it all the time. Challenge. Yeah. The most challenging people think, the most challenging things people have is they believe they shouldn't have any challenges. You need the challenges to grow. You need the challenges to evolve. So like, accept them. Yeah, you created that. Fucking well done. Like, well done. You created it. Brilliant. Like, well, I don't own that. I didn't decide. I didn't choose to have the car crash. You chose to get in the car. Own that shit.
I get, yeah.
Oh, that's like they fucking hell. Like that's hard. But you've got to own that. And so the choices and happiness. I mean, every single person on the planet, and if you're listening right now, my friends, and I really want you to own this because I'd love you to smile more and laugh harder, right? Very simple, right? What makes you laugh? What makes you smile? And what do you love doing? Do fucking more of that. That is it. Like if you're doing what makes you happy, you'll be happy. It's very, very simple. You can make it really complex. Oh, I can't. Choice. I can't have a choice. Because here's the thing I learned, and this all relates back to my father's passing, the living life of regret. When you are lying on that bed, when you are about to pass from this world into the next world, is when most people realize what is truly important and what is not.
Yeah.
Like my father, I know, and I know in my heart, and I can feel it from him, and the regret is he just wanted one more breath.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this right now, guess what? Your heart is beating. There's no wood either side of the elbows. You can breathe. It's going to
Yeah.
be a fucking phenomenal day. That's all you need. You're already success, my friend. You are successful if you're breathing and your heart is beating and you've been given another gift, which is today, the present. And most people, and again, they're complicating the world. They're complicating all this. And if they look at that, if you look at the things you worry about, I worry about,
Yeah.
why? It's all bullshit. It's all nothing. My heart is beating, I'm breathing, great, there's love surrounds me. Fuck me, I'm lucky. And it's living in that state. And people go, They create this all the time. Oh, you can't be happy all the time. Who fucking made that story up? Who made that story up? It's true, right? Who made that up? You can't be happy all the time. Who made it up? And so someone made that up. Like someone made up you can't be happy all the time. But it's okay to be sad most of the time. It's okay to look around the world and see that many victims who are on social media, and the only way they get any love and connection is having a bad day.
Yeah.
Like, um, like it's so fictional. It's just not real. But if like we do not celebrate happiness in this country and this world, in this planet. Like if you're happy, like, all right, so that we live in this victim world where the
Yeah.
only way you get any love and attention is when you're feeling sad. And absolutely right. Like I've got a massive heart, absolutely. But here's the thing. If we were happier, like when I post on social, it's so funny. If I post something negative, I get way more comments and stuff. If it's fucking positive, like it's so
Mad, mad. It's mad.
insane, right?
Yeah.
But now I've let go of that shit. I'm not bothered.
No.
But I need it's like, oh my god. But now it's just I'm gonna post all I care about until I die. I'm gonna post things that empower people's lives, help them take full responsibility and to live a life fucking happy. And if that gets one like or no likes, I don't care because that is where I want people to be. That's where I want to live. So yeah. Live life happy, right?
What a great conversation. It's yeah, you blow me away with that. It's been great. It's again like I choose to surround myself with people like you. I like that. That's what I want. I don't need to be around people that just want to hold you back and everything like that. Yeah, don't need to talk about it. Where can people find and connect with you?
And probably not so well. You can so the interesting thing what I've done is I am on social media, but I've moved from my personal account. So that's why I was getting all the
Sure.
attention, right?
Yeah,
So
I
now
get it.
I'm on the Burcham business page, which I've had for years. But
Yeah,
of course, I can be on my basically my business page and not see any timeline because it's a business.
yeah,
So connect with me on Gordon Burcham
yeah.
on Facebook is a place where I love to be, but there is knowing that I would comment backwards and forwards, but I don't see anyone's timeline,
Sure.
and this is amazing. So absolutely, you can reach out there. You can check out the website, which is gordonburcham.com. Okay, I'm on the website, which is super cool. So have a look in there. There's some. I'm launching a new app called Live Life Happy. That's coming out very soon as well. My new app. So that's going to be super super cool. And of course, I've written a book. You can get my book on audio. You can get it on paperback and hardback. That's available as well. Yeah, and yeah, that's where you can connect with me. It's
Your 2 day event or
Oh
your
yeah, okay, yeah. My 2 day event is on March the 22nd and 23rd. In fact, as I'm launching it now, it's a £497 2 day course with me, certified course. You get a certificate at the end, all that kind of thing. It's going to be very empowering. It's going to break barriers. It's going to allow you to own your life in so many areas. It's going to be very transformational. But I'm doing a £350 discount on because it's the launch one, it's the first one, so it'd be £147 for a couple of days at my amazing conference facility that I own, and lunch is included. This is not about making money. This is genuinely about helping people really live life happy and to take full ownership of their lives and break down their barriers, unlock the diamond and shine it on the world. So yeah.
That's amazing. I really appreciate your time and thank you for sharing everything you have because I know this is genuinely going to help people. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take it easy.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and you would like to know more, then first I would like you to subscribe to the channel so I can reach and help more people with this and also be able to help you cut through the noise and nail your messaging. Reach out to me on social media on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook and send me the word podcast so I know the conversation and what you've heard so I'm able to help you. Let's have a great conversation and see exactly where you are and where you want to be with your business.